Yeah, so this one's gonna be on dreaming. There is there's a lot of talk about that when we are dreaming, our what's going on is that when we fall asleep, our spirit or our essence leaves our bodies and it goes traveling around the world into different places. Now, what that with that idea, I was watching this guy on YouTube just now, and he was reading from a textbook of some sort, and he was talking about this thing. And I'm wondering to myself is why are we reading things from spiritual textbooks and then just accepting it as truth or as like this is what it means. So, what we need to do is that we need to experience these things ourselves and we need to come up with our own fucking ideas and answers to things, base them, test them in reality, look for scientific backing or others who have had tangible experiences, and then we can start to formulate tangible experiences, and then we can start to formulate an understanding of the things that we're thinking about. So not just taking what we're reading in a book and being like, aha, it's in an old book, it must be true, this person said it is what it is, so now I live my life and claim this as fact, instead of you yourself trying to see what really is going on. Now, for example, like I have done meditation myself, and in that meditation, I have had revelations, but I don't just take those revelations and say all of a sudden, oh yeah, this revelation will now be truth. No, I have to test it in reality. I have to put it to the test because we're after truth. We're not after just like, you know, creating realities that come to us in our imagination. So one of those revelations that I had was um, someone was talking to me in Japanese, and I was completely understanding them. Like they were talking to me. I don't speak Japanese, but I understood them. So when I had that, and I came out of my revelation, came out of my dream, I was asleep. Right, I was in the dream state. What what then came to me, like I always practice, like I've always said here, what I do is I have information that I carry outside of the dream as a knowing. It's more of a knowing than it is words and shit. It's just a knowledge that has now been unlocked. For example, what happens when we dream is the more we practice this, going from meditation into the dream state, is that we will have less restful sleep and more active, like an awakened sleep, like a lucid dream. You're not You are asleep, you're under, but you're not resting. It's like you're still awake, but under that, in that area of like, of the unconsciousness. There is no time there. Time kind of halts because in between the synapses of your brain, there is no time. At least that's the way it feels like to the observer. Okay, this we know because you can be asleep and you can lose all notion of time while you're there. Now, when you are asleep, what is happening is that you are coming into contact with aspects of yourself that are ancient. It's in your DNA, it's floating around inside of you, but it doesn't come to the consciousness, it doesn't come to your waking self as often as your experiences in real life. So when someone gets an idea, I mean, Michael Jackson talks about this a lot. He says that he doesn't really make his music, it just comes to him from source. And it's an interesting thing for him to say that, because it feels like, as a dreamer, as a vivid dreamer, a person who lived like in an alternate reality, he was able to tap into this stuff. Now, let's think about this for a second. Let's unpack this. If I am saying that when we sleep, we are in contact with parts of ourselves that are ancient, um, and in that state, we can extract information. It is revealed to us. And the more you practice this, when you come out of the dream state, you're going to have a knowing. Something will just travel with you from unconsciousness to consciousness. In doing that, um, people like Isaac Newton and all these other folks that have had revelations, understandings of things that just come to them in their mind, right? These people are able to come up with solutions to problems in life. Okay, come up with solutions that they are trying to solve in their daily life. Where are they getting this from? It's information that exists as potential within the human being. Since everything that is ever going to be and as ever has been quantum, when we think about it at a quantum level, it's already there in potential, right? It is already there in potential. So in other words, AI has always been there in potential. It's just that we caught up to its position in temporal reality. So we caught up to it in time, according to our understanding of the world. In this time, the thing has been revealed to us, because there are microconductors, because electricity has been developed to a certain point. We have understood all of those things come together in a temporal position, and it reveals things that exist already in potential. These things are coming through us, the creative aspect of the universe, and it's coming to us from where? It's inside of you. That information is in your DNA, it's inside of your mind somehow. Either you're plucking it from the ether, or it's already downloaded inside of you when you were born. And since everything that is alive at the same time, we share some kind of wireless network that we can't perceive because we don't have the organ to do so. But there is something there that is being shared throughout the whole world at the same time. That's why we have pyramids all over the world, roughly around the same time frame. You know, people are discovering things at the same time around the world. It's because everything that is alive at the same time. And we share these things worldwide. The interesting thing is that when you think about floating vehicles like boats and canoes, when these things were revealed to humanity, there was people all over the world doing the same thing. These things were revealed to humanity, there was people all over the world doing the same thing. People weren't all of a sudden, building jet engines. We weren't there in temporal position. Okay. So what is going on when you're dreaming? Is your body leaving somewhere? It doesn't have to. What I'm trying to tell you is you don't have to leave. Everything is already inside of you. It's downloaded already when you're born. It's in your DNA. It's part of the package. It's in your hardware. And whatever is not there, there is a connection between everything that is alive, because everything that is alive is always alive at the same time, right? So we exist in the land of the living, we exist in the world of life. And that might be getting off topic a little bit. I think so, but what I'm trying to link that with is the fact that um, the things that come to us, the things that arrive to our minds, happen at the same time, because everything that is alive at the same moment. And as it progresses, temporal positioning affects what is existing in potential. Um, and that goes both ways. It's not just that we have arrived at a moment in time, it's that we have developed up to that moment in time. And all of these things kind of like coincide. Arrived at a moment in time, it's that we have developed up to that moment in time. And all of these things kind of like coincide, right? Okay, cool. So what is happening when you're sleeping? When you are asleep, you are convening. You are if you are not resting, you are in a literal, in the presence of the aspect of ourselves that is ancient, that exists already in potential. So when I had that dream that I was talking to someone in Japanese and I was understanding them, that's because people exist right now who speak Japanese and they understand each other. So it came to me in my mind, and it was like I was tapping into that at some place at some time, which was in that moment. But within your brain, when you're asleep, between the synapses, there is no time. Time kind of halts because it's too small of a existence. The existence is up there. It's in your brain between the synapses, and the thing that is awareness inside of you, it can do that at any scale. Awareness can happen at subatomic levels, or awareness can happen at planetary levels. It's just awareness. And when you wake up, in order for you to exist at your level of development, it has to it has to come back to size, either down or up. So this is either down or up. So this is backed up by scientific understanding of quantum fields, of quantum entanglement. All of these things are pointing and explaining what I'm trying to say. It's not that this is like our body traveling somewhere around the world. It's that the whole world is in potential in this moment and you are plugged into it. You don't have to go anywhere. It's already inside of you. You are literally an aspect of reality that can have uh that can think. It's a literal observer. You have, if I tried to say it a little more penetrating, is that once you have this awareness, the circle of God is completed. And what that means is not using the word God in the form that it has always been used. It's to say that, for example, before you were born, God was existing in potential. When you were born, all of a sudden, God has an awareness of, and then that circle is completed and God exists. God is awake. So, in other words, without you, God does not exist. Without you, God cannot wake up. Without you, God only exists in potential. Why is it called God? Because The universe is massively powerful in potential, but it's doing things as if it was asleep. You know, when you sleep, your body is still doing processes keeping you alive. That's exactly what's happening. But when you wake up, all of a sudden you have an observable point of view, and you are in a vessel that allows you to create. You have the creative power now flowing through you because awareness has found a mechanism that can be seated, in which it can be seated, sitting, and it can contemplate, it can solve problems, it can have emotions, it can react to music. It now has a say on what is going on. And we are really right now, we are at the very infancy of this development, but we are moving towards a threshold because of where we are in our position temporally. Our temporal position is one of a threshold in which we are in. And we've been in this threshold for a very long time. What's keeping us back is that we are in a curious location in history. Can I tell you what I mean by that? What I mean by that is that technology is advancing at a very fast rate, but we still have the books, we still have the influence from our ancestors with us here now. And we are trying to shake off the old ways and bring them into coherence, bring them into balance with the world that we find ourselves in now. So our understanding is unraveling, but we are still stuck with the superstitious belief systems that we are bringing into this present world. Both of these things are clashing, and that is called a threshold because one is going to be victorious over the other. All right. So when we sleep, we have less barriers to access the information that exists in potential in the universe. And in doing so, when you have contact with it, you bring very little of it back with you when you wake up. Because how can I say, this is something that we need to practice. This is something that we need to practice. This is a thing that needs exercising. It's being in contact with your higher self, with your inner self, with your ancient self, with source, all of these words that just mean the universe within you. You have pieces of that universe with you, and you have a connection with it because you are existing. And tapping into that thing and existing, and tapping into that thing and bringing that information into your awakens going to help the threshold to be fulfilled. So it takes a person who has the ability to look within themselves and to start to decipher or to start to catalog all of this stuff into a systematic approach. And I'm doing so in English language. I'm doing so for North Americans. I'm doing so for the American population. Now, what I'm doing is I'm bringing to North America an understanding that is ancient, but I'm bringing it to them in their language. I'm bringing it to them in their position in time. Because learning this stuff from the East, from the old East, in their language is very esoteric. It's hard to digest. It sounds weird. It is rejected because it sounds hocus pocus. But when you bring it to the nature of the reality in which you find yourself with the scientific understandings, now you have the advanced perception of the things that are spoken of in the past, and you're able to understand them now with terminology of your time. Nando ascribes to the paper and the spoken word the things that are being discovered within, tested without and out externally, and then they are confirmed and applied to our lives. It's not a religion, it's an approach, it's a framework, it's a revelation, an understanding of the world around you and your relationship to it. We call it equivalence of form. You see, anyone that listens to this is going to, you see, anyone that listens to this is going to be like, damn, that sounds familiar. Damn, that makes sense. Why? Because it is being digested and regurgitated to you in your language for your time. It is truth without dilemma, truth without conjecture. It is truth without dogma. Most beneficial for all becomes a path forward. Wow, that's a mouthful. But what happens when we are dreaming? When we are dreaming, we are obviously in our thought state. There is no time in your thought states. You are not traveling out of your body because you don't have to. All of that is already within you. Everything that exists in potential exists in you already in potential. You have the organ, which is the brain, to bring that potential into reality through your body, because your body is a creative force. How do you think that we have everything that we have today? It's because we are a creative force in the universe. We are the universe in a vessel that allows it to have a creative force. I'll give you an example. Look at all of the creatures in nature and the marvelous things that they can do. How does that happen? It happens through the body. It needs a vessel. It exists in potential in the universe, but unless it has a vessel, it can't materialize into reality. Okay? And the methodology to do that is survival mechanisms. I'm trying to survive so I can spread my seed. How do I do that the most efficiently as possible so that I am not destroyed by the environment in which I find myself? Everything is fighting for nutrition, for survival, and for heritage. So what really is going on is those mechanisms that are in nature are the mechanisms that bring forth all of this potential into the world. If it wasn't for that mechanism, you wouldn't be on this phone right now or computer listening to my voice traveling at 75 miles per hour. All of that stuff, it's not possible without those pressures, without those forces, external forces in nature upon your body. This brings forth all of the potential that exists in reality, okay, in the universe. We know this to be true because it's tested in science. I'm saying it to you and you're like, fuck, that makes sense. And it's because it's truth in your language. It rings true because it harmonizes with nature. You are a part of that nature, blah, blah, blah. What happens when we're dreaming? The dream state, if you are able to get into after you encounter meditation. You want to meditate into the dream state. When you do that, you're not resting. You are there with the inner world, the higher self, whatever you want to call it, the actual potential, and you are communicating with it because it's talking to you and it's showing up into your, how can I say this? It's like the movie, I hate doing that, but everyone does. It's the easiest way for us to talk to each other. The movie where the time traveling squids come down in a spaceship, it looks like a spaceship to us, and it's actually a translator. It's some sort of, how can I say, uh, a translation device that, it's a buffer and between the human experience and that alien species. Okay, what's the name of that movie? It was based on a short novel. See, right now I'm going through the file system in my brain. That information exists already in potential. I'm just trying to bring it to my awareness. It's one word. I think there's a letter O in it. It's one word. I think there's a letter O in it. Um, I can't remember it right now for some reason. Arrival? I think it's Arrival. Arrival. I think that's the one. Arrival. Um, where they're describing and explaining time travel, and they show them that time travel is expressed through language, through the writing system, because the language changes the anatomy of the brain. It changes the point of view, the perspective. It changes your paradigm. And since it needs a vessel, it exists in potential in the universe, but it needs a vessel to create it, to bring it forth. The language, right? It's a very interesting movie. I mean, it's really interesting. And it's actually, when you listen to it, you're like, fuck, that makes sense. At some level, this is resonating with me. Okay. So, um, it's already in your brain. So when you sleep, you break down the barriers, you break down the, how can I say, you break down the barrier, and you are sitting, you are in awareness of a conversation with that inner self, and it's talking to you through a barrier, just like in that movie. And in that barrier, it is revealing this information to you without using words. It's like you are talking to you, but there's a barrier between the both of you. And it's like a time barrier, but also uh, it's like, your existence is one of a bunch of shit mixed together, paradigms mixed with time, mixed with, level of development. And all of those things have to catch up. And when it does, it just clicks and you come out of the dream with an awareness. That's why I'm saying that. So I'll give you an example. Something could be revealed to you as a child, but it doesn't click with you until you're older because it catches up with you. Even though the revelation happened at an earlier point in your life, when it comes back to you later on, both of those things are in equivalence of form and you understand it. But it was always there in potential. It's just that you're trying to catch up with it. Okay, so this sounds a little strange, but it's because these things are strange. They're not. they're not completely, you know, it's anything is strange, that anything unknown to you is strange until it's made known to you. That's how that works. Once it's made known to you, it's not strange anymore, it's familiar. So that's what I'm trying to say is unfamiliar things appear strange to us. Very good. Dreaming. When you encounter, I mean, I'm going to wrap this up by saying when you encounter something in a book, in an ancient book, you have to come to it with this understanding. I am a person living in this time of advanced technological understanding, and I am now in the presence of a book that has in it information from a different time, a different paradigm. And this has made it all the way through time in my hands to my perception. You have to be aware of when you consume this material, that you are doing so in language that is not of your time. So if you accept what is being said in that book as truth in reality, you're going to be dragging that position in time into your presence, and you're going to be halting the progression of your development. What you need to do is take that information from the past, which has arrived to you in the present, unwrap it, and for the most part, I'm pretty sure you already know what's in that book because of where we are in development. We develop extremely fast, catching up to everything that was revealed in the past. So if a book is telling you that when you dream, you leave your body, and that body is traveling around the world, and that world is the one of the spirit realm, and the spirit realm manifests in the carnal realm, and your dream body is traveling around it, and when you wake up, that dream body snaps back to your body. And then you bring that information back with you. Now, I just said that to you in an ancient verbiage, but you understand it now that it's half truths. It's describing and pointing to something, but it doesn't have its finger on it. It is kind of sensing that that is going on, but they're using old language to describe it, so it's like a half truth. But now, after this whole talk and an understanding of what is going on, you read that and you realize, yeah, this person was describing an experience that they were having within themselves, but we know now what is really going on and what they were pointing to. We don't take the information from the past and say it's exactly like that. No, we can look at it and we can decipher it, and we can say, oh, that's interesting. They were hinting at so and so phenomenon that occurs within the brain. You can do that with all ancient texts. Now, it's very interesting when a mathematician comes along, discovers the mathematics to describe something. That mathematics allows us to do real world calculations and produce technologies that allow us to understand, describe, and unravel reality in a way that is actually existing from out of our minds and into reality. And then it's revealed to us, which means it's no longer strange. It is a familiar thing. And then we just, we use it like no problem. It's normal to us. It's familiar to you. So please, when you read the Bible, when you read ancient texts, you have to do so standing in the position where you are in your temporal location. And remember that what you're reading is things that are being described of the internal nature with limited verbiage. All of these things, God, spirit, demon, all this stuff is pointing to something internally that is being projected externally into reality. And where you are in position of the development, you already know this stuff. It just sounds, it sounds cryptic and shit because they don't know how to describe it back then. You know exactly what's going on right now. It's not cryptic anymore. It's commonplace knowledge. It's it's it breaks down all of the dogma. It breaks down all of the woo, all of the what's the word that my friend uses? It breaks down all of the she uses such a funny word to describe this, but I can't remember it right now. So yeah, there you go. That's what's happening when you're dreaming. I'm gonna start putting these up on YouTube on the channel Nendo_life. And Nendo is spelled with the Macron above the O. You have to copy that from somewhere. It's hidden. That YouTube channel and that information is purposefully hidden. It's meant for you to find it if you know how to look for it. All right. Maybe I'll put that information on my page somewhere here.